Realme Note 50 positions itself as a budget-friendly smartphone in the entry-level segment. For its price, it offers good value to users who need a good battery life and basic everyday performance, though it does come with some compromise which is expected of a device in this segment. It makes a strong first impression with its surprisingly premium feel. Even though this design feels generic, I can forgive that considering this smartphone was released earlier this year. Its sleek design and polished finish gives it an appearance more expensive than its price tag would suggest. Despite its budget-friendly nature, the Note 50 manages to avoid feeling cheap in the hand. I also love the attention to aesthetics here. The color choice is limited to just two options. We have the black and the blue, with this glittering finishing at the back that adds some visual interest to it. Let's get a quick rundown of the specs here. A 6.74-inch, a 90Hz refresh rate, a Unisoc T612 chipset, and a 5000 mAh battery capacity. I'm not going to bore you with details you already know. Just like most entry-level devices, this has similar specs to those I've reviewed here. The screen is the norm, like I said earlier. We get a 6.74-inch LCD display here. The 720p panel on this device is expected at this price point. The graphics are alright here for general use and content consumption. The color profile also comes out okay. It also has a 90Hz refresh rate, which gives fair scrolling and animation for its price, though it's not noticeable on all out, but it's still okay. We also have a drop notch display screen here with the selfie camera. The drop notch display here doesn't look bad at all, but I don't know if it's just me, but seeing a drop notch display on a device that costs over 100,000 naira doesn't sit well with me, because why? Some brands are doing this for even less, but that doesn't mean drop notch displays are terrible. That's just how I feel. The 516 nits of peak brightness here is okay for indoor use, but might struggle a bit outdoors under direct sunlight. We get other specs like a side mounted fingerprint sensor that works just about right, a triple card slot for 2 SIM cards, and a micro SD that is expandable up to 2 terabytes, a single down-firing speaker, a Type-C port, a headphone jack, all on the plastic frame. The fact that this smartphone is all plastic on the rear and the frame, it still has a decent quality for its price point. It also has an impressively slim profile, feeling both modern and comfortable in the hand. It comes in either 3GB or 4GB RAM and 64GB or 128GB storage option. As at the time I made this video, I got my review units the 3GB RAM for 115,000 naira. Now let's talk about the performance of this smartphone running on the Unisoc T612 processor. The Unisoc T612 processor here is an entry-level processor, and it shows its limitations when pushed. It can handle day-to-day tasks without much issue, but if you're a heavy user, you will notice the slowdowns when attempting to run multiple demanding apps simultaneously or play graphic-intensive games. The 180Hz touch sampling rate here is also good for gaming responsiveness. Talking about gaming, my gaming experience on this was fair. If you're a light to moderate gamer, this should work just fine, or consider getting one with a higher memory configuration. The Note 50 runs on Realme UI based on Android 13. The UI is surprisingly clean and it's not so buggy. The software experience here also feels smooth out of the box, and this offers some customization options. Realme also promised 2 years of OS updates and 3 years of security patches, which sounds great. The only problem is I haven't been able to update to Android 14 even after several attempts. I keep getting this version up to date message. I really don't know what the problem is. Maybe it's a bug or there was no OS update to begin with. Either way, I hope they're able to fix this soon. We get the Gemini voice assistant here and what Realme refers to as a mini capsule on the notch that displays some informations like the charging notifications and even the number of steps taken. Now let's talk about the camera specs on this device. When I first got the smartphone, the first thing that came to my mind after I saw the specs is basic but functional. But surprisingly, I was impressed with the overall camera performance here. We get what looks like a triple camera setup on the rear, but it's just a 13 megapixel lens, a flash, and a 5 megapixel selfie camera. The main camera is what you'd expect from an entry-level device, but with a little bit more. It takes decent pictures in good lighting. The skin tones and colors comes out just right. Even the portrait mode does just fine, but late night and poorly lit pictures are not so great. It's also IP54 dust and water resistant. We get a 5000 mAh battery on this device. This phone can last about 2 days on days when I don't use it so well. So yeah, the battery life here is decent. But then here comes the charging speed. At just 10 watts, it will take over 2 hours to get fully charged. So that's it on the Realme Note 50 review. What do you think about this device? Would you consider getting one, or would you just keep? Let me know what you think of this smartphone in the comment section. And like always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.